What's good? I'm a Ruthless Addicts. It is your girl, Tika Deshawn. Thank you so much for tuning in to All Things Ruthless, home of the Ruthless Addicts. While you're here, go ahead to hit that like button and then hit that subscribe button so that you may receive notification of all new content if you are a new visitor to my channel. All right, you guys, we are going to get on into All the Queen's Men. All the Queen's Men absolutely came back with a vengeance. Um, it started out, well, it left off where Teresa, um Doc's side chick or baby mama, girlfriend, whatever, ex-girlfriend, whatever you want to call her, she decided she was gonna run out into the street and in front of a bus, and unfortunately she was hit by the bus and the baby was hit by the bus. Now all of the fellas were like, what's going on, where's Doc? Nobody at that point, nobody really knew where Doc was. And then one of the dancers came in and said, hey, or actually it was one of the amateur dancers. He came in and said, hey, y'all boy, he was out there talking to his girl and she ran into in front of a bus, and the baby got hit too. And all the fellas was like, what? Like, what you talking about? So they run outside, go to see what's going on. And sure enough, Teresa is laying in the street. The baby is laying in the street. Doc is off to the side, crying over Teresa's body. Not one time did Doc lift to go check on the baby. He just kind of automatically assumed that the baby was no longer alive. But he did. It was a crazy scene. So Fuego, being Fuego, was like, I gotta check on the baby. I gotta check on the baby, at least see if the baby is, alive. And he was like, the baby's not moving. So he moved the blanket off of the baby, and it was probably one of the most hurtful things that he could probably see, because it literally took his breath away. And so El Fuego was just, you shouldn't have moved the cloth. But anyway, he did. So anyway, we fast forward into the scene where Madam is in with Tandy. Tandy called herself coming to collect her dog as well as get her money back, or give her money to Madam, because Madam told her, you come, since you violating boys, you're gonna come to my club and you're gonna bring me money, and that's gonna, and I'm gonna, let you know you can't be doing that. So anyway, Tandy came to the club to collect. She brought the money that she was supposed to give to Madam. So she was like, well, am I going to at least get my dog back? And Madam was like, nah, you don't, I'm going to keep the dog. Since you so nasty and ruthless, basically, I'm going to keep the dog and you're going to do without. So Tandy was like, that's my emotional support dog. I need my dog. And Madam's like, nah, I'm going to keep the dog for myself. So then we see the concierge, y'all. Y'all know concierge, played by Christian Keys. Now the concierge has a wifey, but he and wifey have an agreement. As long as you're respectful to me, you won't have to worry about being embarrassed publicly. So with that being said, that's why Madam is now a part of his side chick gang, because the concierge and his wife are okay with them seeing other people, because they are a marriage. It was an arranged marriage, which is out of convenience to make more money, according to what the concierge said. Okay. So then they have the conversation. Now she's offended that she has had that concierge has had Madam on their private plane with their steward, their flight attendants, and their pilot. That's the only reason why she's upset about that, because like she said, don't embarrass me, don't publicly embarrass me. So anyway, concierge said, look, we have an agreement. It is what it is. Take it how you want it. And you know, of course, according to everybody else, concierge and everybody else, his wife is nothing to be played with. So anyway, we see our guy Amp, and he got a new babe. Like, Diamond did him wrong. Diamond went to Madam before she even went to him about that money, and almost cost him his life. So he's forever upset with her. Well, she doesn't. First of all, he tells the girl to go down on him right in front of Dime. Now Dime is not with the shenanigans. She was like, "Look, I came over here to talk to you. She gotta leave." She didn't care. She didn't care about him getting naked in front of her, about him telling the girl to go down. She was just like, "She gotta leave because we need to talk." So we move on. I'm gonna get back to Dime because Dime was out of control, y'all. Never seen this side of Dime. But this chick right here that Blue is with. Listen, first of all, Blue pissed me off on this episode simply because when the fellas came back in from the club, she automatically sent them out on the floor, not regarding nothing that they had witnessed. All she cared about was making Madam's money. So anyway, the fellas, yeah, they had to end up going out back on the floor. That didn't turn out so well for Fuego. Fuego got sick literally right there out there on the floor. So anyway, Blue meets this chick in the club. Now, it's just real convenient that this chick happens to be in the club, okay? She's all laid out and drunk, and uh Blue says, "Okay, well, I'm gonna take you, I'm gonna get you a cab or something so you can go home, or a ride share so you can go home." Oh, girl's like, "I don't want to go home. My husband's abusive. I want to go home with you." And sure enough, Blue, being the thought pocket that she is, went on and took old girl home. Now, Amp got into some more trouble. Let me tell y'all, before Amp got into this particular trouble, um, Dime decided she was gonna tear up the man's apartment. So this showed the crazy side to Dime. Dime should really, I feel like she should just get over Amp because she betrayed him. He didn't betray her. She betrayed him. So now she is just so distraught, so upset, throwing plates around, breaking glass, breaking bottles, just doing the whole freaking most. So anyway, after that drama left, he Amp and his new chick or whatever, they're just laying there relaxing, and he gets this knock at the door. It's a continuous knock. So it ends up being the guys, the gang members of that one leader who was in the hospital, laid in the hospital bed, that was pushed out of the window by Madam. Now, they basically came to avenge his death by trying to go through Amp. Amp and the little gang, they end up getting into their little physical altercation, and they beat him down because it was like 6 or 7 of them to one of him. So anyway, concierge's wife ends up at Tandy's house with the judge and Tandy. So she's there and just asking questions about Madam, and just so happened they get a phone call. Judge gets a phone call from Madam and says, "I need you to get Doc out of jail." And the judge is just like taking her time with it. And Madam decides she's gonna literally pull up at Tandy's house. And not only did she pull up, but she pulled up through the gate. Then once she got through the gate, she got up in the judge's face. She went off on her, hit her, told her, "Look, I told you, my time is precious. Don't play with me. I told you to get your boy out of jail. Now you playing with me. You sitting here, you thinking your girl's basically gonna help you. They looking at her about to get a beat down." So, like I said, Madam punches the judge. Then she picks her up, drags her to the starts choking her, drags her into the swimming pool, and I'm pretty sure at some point she lost consciousness, a whole lot of consciousness in that swimming pool because Madam held her down long enough to unalive her. So Madam is crazy. Madam is crazy for real, for real. Y'all don't play with Madam like that. We should have learned enough from the beginning and the end of season 1 and the beginning of season 2. We should have known Madam or actually this is season 2. So we should have known Madam is not to be played with. So anyway, we see she tells Tommy to get the judge out the pool and resuscitate her. And Tommy does just that. He does his compressions. He does whatever he has to do to resuscitate Judge. And once Judge comes to, and she begins to cough, and she continually cough. But just mind you, if you done swallowed a whole bunch of water, you're gonna cough too until you can get it up out your system. So of course, Madam says, "Oh, you bet you doing a lot of coughing, and I gotta wait until you finish coughing. You better not have COVID, or do you have COVID? Like that's her favorite line. Do you have COVID? Anytime anybody coughs, that's her favorite line. So Madam lets the judge know, look, you got about 30 minutes, whatever, to get old boy out of jail, or it's gonna be worse for you. And then, with that being said, Madam ends up meeting concierge, his wife. She introduces herself. She says her name is Lotus, and Madam is like, "What kind of name is Lotus?" She was like, "It's a flower." Madam says, "I know it's a flower, but what kind of name is that for somebody, for a person?" So she says it's one of the most dangerous flowers. And of course, Madam, "Oh, I like you already." Um, and then once, like I said, she introduces, let her know that I am concierge's wife, and I know about you, and blah blah blah. I see why he likes you. Um, and that's where the conversation ends. Now, of course, Madam has no idea that concierge was married, but she has to keep her poker face on. So with that being said, Madam decides to leave from leave from the house after she got handled her business. And not only does she leave alone, no, she doesn't leave alone, y'all. She, of course, she has Tommy. And she takes another object or another person, another being from Tandy. Now she has taken this boy who was working for Tandy. And that's the second time that Madam has taken something from Tandy. So Madam keeps building enemies after enemies after enemies after enemies. Like I told y'all already, that gang came from Madam through her nephew, and concierge's wife is probably gonna go for Madam, go after Madam. Tandy is already trying to go after Madam, as well as the judge. Like they really are. They just sick of her because she just get away with it. Not only does she have a judge that's trying to get at her, she also has the police officer that's trying to get at her. But fast forward, we get to the club, y'all. We finally get to see the fellas in a decent mood. They're like, okay, let's go make this money. And so they do a dance. Shout out to all my Atlanta background actress sisters. I commend you guys. I salute you ladies for being able to hold it down at the Eden. Your girl is trying to get in the Eden at some point. But anyway, shout out to all the Atlanta background actors and actresses. Shout out to y'all. I know that you all had an amazing time doing this particular scene right here. So old girl, the audience member, she gets to get a dance with um with y'all. I almost forgot the name. So anyway, if Fuego is one of the dancers. Y'all know the other dude, Midnight. I know he's got another name, but Midnight, he gonna be Midnight tonight. And then the other chick, that's the stripper that has finally been able or been allowed to dance with the fellas. They finally, because they had no choice. Doc was in jail, and so he couldn't be there to do the dance. And then Babyface was somewhere dealing with. Oh, I forgot to tell y'all about Babyface, y'all. Babyface ended up going through some shenanigans with the lawyer again. The lawyer, the stalker lawyer, that she wants him so bad, but he doesn't want her. And she's been providing, and she bought an apartment for him and a car. So now she's at the point where she's decided to take all of these objects from him. Not only did she decide to take all of these objects from him, she also decided to try to accuse him of beating her when actuality he never put his hands on her. So anyway, Doc is finally out of jail. Madam talks to Doc, asks him what happened. He just said, "Hey, they tried to hem me up, but I wasn't falling for it." Then Madam looks at Doc's jacket, and at first it seems as if, oh, she's okay with it, she's cool with it. But then she looks at his jacket and see that there's a bug placed in his jacket, a listening device so that the police could listen in, which makes it look as if Doc is in with the police. However, that wasn't the case. What happened, the police officer, the detective who's been trying to take down Madam, handed Doc his jacket. So he probably didn't even know that that bug was in there. I don't think Doc is a snitch like that. So anyway, you guys, that was the end. She was so pissed off that she had butted Doc. So with that being said, y'all, that was the end of All the Queen's Men season 2, episode 11. Also, we had episode 10 and 11. I combined the two together, y'all. But that was the end of both of those episodes. And it's crazy. Madam is back with the vengeance. I'm absolutely loving it. I will absolutely continue to watch All the Queen's Men. It's not just about the naked men, it's about the drama that goes on in Club Eden, y'all. All right, y'all. Well, that is about it. Your girl is out of here. Thank y'all so much for tuning in, and you guys stay ruthless.